Welcome Patterneasters! I was inspired to dig into my knitting pattern folders for some cute kids knits this week, and some Easter treats too. The village show brochure was sent out and it has a category for knitting a tank top for a child, which is not something I do very often, but I do have a lot of knitting patterns for kids and babies, so let's have some fun looking at them. And can you spot the Easter egg in the video as it moves around today? There'll be a free knitting pattern at the end for you to try too. Let me know in the comments if you think there's a winning pattern for your next cast on in today's patterns. We have patterns with bunnies, chicks, cats, dogs, ponies, teddy bears, well, all of the cuteness really, to inspire for the child in your life. The patterns are from a range from quite vintage to slightly more modern. But you should be able to find all of them on reselling sites, and you may even be lucky enough to find them in the books, in the local charity stores, thrift shops, op shops, Goodwill, whatever you call them near you. And if you're buying online, you won't always necessarily find them listed with the exact pattern number, but I'll share these anyway so that you can confirm from the photographs that they are the same ones. And a top tip, if you're searching for baby knits on the reselling sites, look out for the bundles. They often are very good deals and you can bring down the cost of your next cast on. I haven't introduced myself in a while in the last few videos, and there are a number of new viewers here, so welcome! I am the Knitting Patterneaster and I have a huge collection of vintage knitting and crochet patterns, and my addiction does not stop collecting them, and I want to share the joy that they can bring. And I love the history of fashion, home knitting, and the pleasure of what could be on my needles next. So let's talk knitting together and the endless possibilities for your yarn stash too. So let's jump into the cuteness, shall we? Starting with this adorable pattern, I suspect from the 1980s given the sailor collar. It is Robin pattern number 13285 for DK wool, and it's called a bunny jumper. But we all know bunnies don't jump, they hop. So let's hope they hop onto your needles next with that statement collar. The two rabbits are sharing the carrot in a sweet gesture. Now no one is fighting over the Easter bunny chocolate this year, right? Well, let's see. There is a button closure at the back of the neck, and the frill round the collar is sewn on thankfully, so no picking up stitches with this one. The fluffy tails are also sewn on for a 3D look. As well as their eyes, the carrot tops are embroidered so you can make a unique jumper or sweater with your own expressions. I'm not sure personally whether I'd add the whiskers though. This pattern is for a 22 to 28 inch chest. The next option for a cute bunny cardigan is from the 1950s or early 60s from Mariner, and it's for a 1 to 2 year old. It's pattern number 122 and it's simply called a child's cardigan. I will have to do an in-depth look in another video at Mariner as it's a very old company, and it's fascinating. On this pattern, Mariner boasts that they've been spinning wool during the reigns of 9 kings and queens. And if you don't know your royal history that well, in the UK that equates to George III on the throne, when the Greendale Mill was built in 1784. Now that's quite a historic period. It's less than a decade after the last Outlander 6th season is supposed to be set, and it's the same year that the Continental Treaty of Paris ratified the United States of America as an independent nation, so it is quite old. By the way, who's enjoying season 6 of Outlander? I will have no spoilers here though, but I am loving the Fisher Folk shawls, where they're bringing some new traditions to America. Of course, we know the Shetland shawls from the Victorian period. I plan to go through the patterns a little quicker than before, so it feels like you're flicking through a pattern book in the local yarn store with a friend or scrolling through your Ravelry page. But let's see if I can contain my excitement for the patterns. So let's dive into the next pattern, and it's from Peter Pan Wendy Wools number P409, and it's another bunny pattern. Front and rear view of a rabbit this time, so your little one can use their imagination. Can be knit for sizes 22 to 26 inches, so that anyone can hop along pretending to be the Easter bunny. The bunnies on the next sweater though have been breeding, as there's 6 of them to knit on the front. It's the Dar pattern C4587, and it's written for kids with 22 to 26 inch chests. And this leaflet has patterns with a stylized flower border if you just want to make some spring flowers rather than all of those bunnies. The next pattern is Sidar's Sunshine Series number 95 for boys or girls aged 2 to 4 years old. And we have 3 cardigans with patterns for rabbits, trains or sailors who seem to be doing a hornpipe or maybe a jig. And following the sailing theme, Sunbeam pattern 1746 is called a sailor top from 1991. It has a lovely boat chart to knit on the front. And sleeves have a hidden anchor pattern that you can't see on the actual picture. And you can certainly channel your Popeye spinach magic with this cast on, given the anchors. Its size is 20 to 24 inches or 51 to 61 centimetres. A similar boat theme is Peyton's C4967, which is a larger size range for 1 to 7 year olds, or 20 to 26 inches this time. And it has a yacht sailing the seas with a sailor toy that you can knit for the pocket as well. And the flag at top is knitted and sewn on later as well to make it 3D. And if you have a young lady in your life obsessed with cats or kittens, then this pattern for Wendy I'm sure will be well loved. It's number 2001 in 22 to 28 inches, and you can embroider the cat's features, the flowers and the birds later. Going back in time to the 1940s, this Best Way pattern A2542 has 3 options for more cute bunny rabbits, playful kittens or spring chicks. And it's for 1 to 4 year olds depending on the pattern you choose. Another Best Way pattern, but from slightly later, is B3292. And it has a Scotty dog on the front, more spring chicks or flowers. I must admit I prefer the spring chicks on this pattern. And it's for sizes 21 to 24 inches. The Sidar pattern C3371 is for a dress with a West Highland Terrier on the yoke. It was written for sizes 21 to 23 inches. Do you think the young model had had enough of the camera that day? In comparison, Sidar's pattern 3236 has 2 very cheery kids wearing these fun cardigans, with cars or more Scotty dogs on. What was so popular with Scotty dogs back then? I mean, I remember Hamish Macbeth having a Westie in the 1990s TV programme, which certainly made the West Highland Terriers very popular. But have I missed a similar pop culture reference for Scotty dogs? Anyway, these patterns are for sizes 22 to 26 inches. Wouldn't the cardigan with the car motifs be fun if the buttons were shaped like cars too? It couldn't be spring here without lambing season, so the next pattern has certainly got the joy of that with the lamb on the front. It's another Mariner pattern, but this time number 357. Designed for either a 21 or 23 inch chest. The Scapa Lana pattern number 1057 has goats on the front instead, and it's for sizes 24 to 30 inch chest. For the pony lovers, I have 2 patterns you might want to search for. The first is Sidar 4325 for a 26 to 32 inch chest with a horse motif on the front. The second is contained within Peyton's The Best of Stitchcraft Family Favourites book, number 193, and it's called She's a Winner, and it has a rider with a horse jumping the fence on the front. The pattern can be made in 4 sizes for 24 to 30 inches. As you'll see from the front cover of this pattern book, there is also a sweater and cardigan pattern which features an elephant and camel too. And there are a number of patterns with slipovers and tank tops. So maybe this one will have the knit that I need for the country show. For more cuteness though, we can't go wrong with a cuddly teddy bear. And this design is Peter Pan's P410 for 22 to 26 inches. Or this pastel pattern features boats and a teddy bear in Fildar's pattern 8824 for a 3 to 9 month old. And who doesn't want to pass on their love of owls? So how about this pattern from Robin? And it's number 13600 for a cute cardigan. And it's in sizes 18 to 22 inches or 46 to 56 centimetres chest. The next pattern is, well, just a little dated, as no child now would even know what a video game was. But let's introduce them to the wonder of those early computer games with this item. Lister's pattern 2039 has a Space Invaders theme for anyone old enough to remember the joy of the Sinclair computer games in the early 1980s. So this is definitely a retro knitting pattern. A simpler design with the embroidered flowers is this yoke dress from Wendy's Peter Pan collection, and it's number P473. It covers sizes 16 to 20 inches, and you can use spare yarn for the flowers. Another Wendy pattern is 2545, and it features the Victoria Plum fairy. Who remembers Angela Rippon's Victoria Plum stories? This adorable woodland fairy can be knit in sizes 20 to 34 inches or 51 to 86 centimetres. And if you really don't want to knit a motif on the front of your child's sweater, how about this robin pattern number 2780? It features a lovely lace pattern with a picot edging. This fits a 20 to 29 inch chest. And if you've waited for the Easter egg, the Jean Greenhow website has a free pattern for a knitted egg and egg cup, so you can knit your Easter egg too. Or you can use it, as I have done in this time, to hold your Cadbury's cream egg. Jean Greenhow revolutionised knitted toys, and all our pattern books are listed on the website. How about this hatching chick? They're easy to knit patterns, and I'll put a link in the description box for you to go and have a look. You can also find them on reselling sites. Who's managed to spot all of the Easter egg moves through the video? I've been wearing my latest finished object, and it's knitted and crocheted in Stuart yarns in the Kelpie colourway. It's my own creation, but it's been inspired by all of my vintage knitting patterns. Don't you think the colour is wonderful? I hope you found some inspiration today for your next cast on, and if you want to look at some more knitting patterns with me, why don't you look at this video next? Until next time, Patterneasters, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy knitting!